So Hans, last week's meeting at the White House between Trump and Ramaphosa. Wow. I mean, calling it tense might be underselling it. The allegations of white genocide, the videos Trump played, it was like a live reaction video in the Oval Office. What was your take on it?
It was indeed a peculiar moment in international diplomacy, Eric. The scene reminded me of Theodore Roosevelt's famed quote, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." Except Trump's approach lacked the softly part. He ambushed Ramaphosa with inflammatory videos and accusations. While the idea of white genocide in South Africa has been debunked by multiple reports, Trump's performance tapped into his base's anxieties rather than addressing facts.
Right, and it wasn't just about the genocide claims. Cutting U.S. aid to South Africa and the refugee debates, it's also tangled. Like, Elon Musk even chimed in, calling South Africa's policies racist. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. Honestly, Hans, can we even call this diplomacy?
Diplomacy, Eric, requires a delicate balance between persuasion and respect. This confrontation veered towards spectacle rather than constructive dialogue. Still, it brings to mind South Africa's historical challenges, a nation grappling with the weight of its apartheid legacy and the chaos of modern geopolitics. As Harold Macmillan once said, history is apt to judge harshly those who resist its march.
That's hitting the nail on the head. It's wild, though, how these media moments spiral. Back when I was a reporter, I covered a press conference not nearly as dramatic as this, but it was enough to send folks into a frenzy. Clips taken out of context, headlines skewing the message. The truth just gets lost somewhere in the noise.
Indeed, the digital age amplifies outrage, often at the expense of nuance. Still, Eric, the accusations against South Africa aren't without some context. Its land reform policies, for instance, remain deeply contentious. But do these critiques warrant hyperbolic claims of genocide? Certainly not. And yet, such accusations resonate widely, particularly among those unfamiliar with the broader socio-economic landscape.
Yeah, and the irony is thick. The same Trump who championed bringing back jobs in the U.S. is now slamming South Africa for protecting its workers and trying to redistribute wealth. Seems like there's selective outrage when it comes to economics.
Selective, perhaps, but not surprising. Geopolitical critiques often reflect domestic agendas more than objective realities. These issues, land ownership, historical inequities, are complex. For South Africa, it is akin to untangling a Gordian knot. No resolution will satisfy all parties involved.
Totally. And speaking of land, that's the crux, isn't it? Who owns what and why? It brings us right to the heart of South Africa's post-apartheid struggles. Let's dive into the legacy of apartheid and what keeps this land ownership debate so heated. Hans, you mentioned South Africa's land reform policies earlier, and it's really the crux of the matter, isn't it? Post-apartheid, the question of land ownership, who has it, who should have it, remains this gaping wound. It seems like every step forward makes that wound bleed a little more. Let's unpack why this issue refuses to be resolved.
Indeed, Eric. To understand this issue, we must reckon with history. During apartheid, land was systematically stripped from the black majority and handed to the minority white population. Today, nearly 3 decades after apartheid's end, these disparities are stubbornly persistent. As Nelson Mandela once said, "Injustice and inequality are like cracks in the foundation of a house. They must be repaired, or the entire structure may fail."
Wow, Hans, that's powerful. And you're right, it's undeniably a legacy of the past. But there's still so much confusion and, honestly, misinformation floating around. Take the claims of white genocide, for instance. Let's unpack that. What do the reports actually say?
The term white genocide is, bluntly, a misrepresentation. While there have been farm attacks and murders, grievous acts that no society should tolerate, statistics show that these crimes are not targeted solely at white farmers. Rather, they are part of a broader crime epidemic that affects all South Africans disproportionately. To target one group alone as victims oversimplifies a complex reality.
Exactly. It's like taking one piece of a big puzzle and pretending it tells the whole story. Of course, no one denies that these crimes are tragic, but they happen in the context of something much larger. South Africa's crime rates, economic struggles, and just systemic inequality.
Precisely, Eric. But let us not forget the contentious land reform policies that fuel these tensions. Redistribution without proper compensation stirs fear and uncertainty among landowners, yet many argue this is a necessary step to address historical injustices. It is a balancing act, albeit one fraught with moral and logistical challenges.
Right. And I mean, let's be real. Reform always feels messy. You've got one side arguing restitution and saying, hey, it's about time we fix this. But then you got the other side worried about revenge. Do you think South Africa's leaders can find that balance, Hans? Is reconciliation still on the table?
Reconciliation must remain the cornerstone, Eric, lest we risk perpetuating the cycle of resentment. Mandela's vision was one of inclusion, acknowledgement of past wrongs while striving for a shared future. This requires policy that heals rather than divides, ensuring the socio-economic growth of all citizens. As Winston Churchill once opined, the further backward you look, the further forward you can see.
I love that, Hans. It's a reminder that understanding history isn't just about the past. It's about shaping the future. Sure, the journey is messy, the debate's fiery, but at the end of the day, progress hinges on dialogue, on connection, and on the willingness to figure this out together. And that's the crucial point here.
Well said, Eric. Land reform, crime, inequality, they are but symptoms of a broader struggle for unity in a fractured society. It is my hope that South Africa, and indeed all nations, find the courage and wisdom to confront these issues with clarity and compassion.
And on that hopeful note, I think that's all for today, folks. Thanks for tuning into this deep dive into one of the most challenging and important debates of our time. Take care, and we'll see you next time.